you have some favorable matchups with the Giants coming up, the Raiders, and that awful Washington Commanders defense. Welcome to Pigskin Passion TV, and it's your boy, the Black Mamba, and it's season 2, episode number 69. And guys, we back for another week of fantasy football. And guys, I don't know how in the world my team is 2-0. I got some of the worst winning stats in the league. For 2 weeks straight, I've had the lowest winning total, and I've just so happened to be matched up with the team that scores one of the lower points in the league. So I'm fortunate to be 2-0 right now, guys. I could easily be 0-2. And I thought the Falcons were gonna make that happen on Monday, or really the Eagles, because I just knew they were coming down to kick a field goal, and that was going to be the end of my night. But I survived, and hey, in fantasy, all you want to do is win, no matter how ugly it is. So this week, I got some waiver wire pickups for you guys. I don't have a whole lot of waiver wire pickups. Actually, I think I just plan to do one waiver wire, but I got some waiver wires for you guys who are in need. So let's jump right into it. At the quarterback position, Derek Carr may be somebody that you want to take a look at. If you looked in a genie bottle and got this guy, your team should be sitting pretty good in the first 2 weeks. He's been one of the top 4 best fantasy quarterbacks to start the season, passing for over 440 yards and has 5 TDs. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be able to sustain these numbers, but if you are in desperate need for a quarterback, I would go out and scoop this guy and see what he got this week. Next up is Justin Fields. Last week, he threw his first touchdown. He also ran for 27 yards, but that 27 yards he ran for was the lowest output, his lowest rushing output since week 4 of 2023. And if you guys lost Tua, or if you have Jordan Love, this may be a good pickup to plug until you get your actual starting quarterback back in the saddle. This week, I think he's a solid number 1. The one big question I have is, how much longer will he start? Will he be starting when Russell comes back? Which I kind of think Russell's going to take over the reins when he does come back. So that's my only question and hesitancy with picking him up. So I definitely wouldn't make it a long-term play until you hear something permanent. But for now, I think he would be somebody that could help your team out. Now let's go with some running backs. Carson Steele with the Kansas City Chiefs. And with Isaiah Pacheco out for 6 to 8 weeks, this is probably going to be the hottest pickup of the week. It seems like he's more than likely to be the number 1 running back. Last week, he had more carries than Samaje Perine. Actually, he had 7 carries. Perine didn't have any. And if that's the case, he's probably going to get the goal line work as well. So I'm not putting a bid in for this guy, but if you are out there and you're looking at him, I would kind of caution you, simply because you want to consider they've signed Kareem Hunt to the practice squad, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's coming back soon. I think he's slated to maybe come back around week 5. So you don't want to go out and spend a whole lot of money on this guy, and then he doesn't give you the returns you're looking for. So be careful with how much you bid on Carson Steele. Next up is Samaje Perine, and he's worth taking a flyer on, but I wouldn't spend a whole lot of money on him. I actually picked him up. If you can see here, I picked him up last week, But I swung and missed because I don't think he's going to be, even if Kareem Hunt and Clyde Edwards-Helaire don't get a whole lot of playing time from Steele, I don't think Samaje is going to really see the field. I think it'll be a hit or miss at best. I think he'll be like a Jerick McKinnon, where, you know, he may have a great game here and then he'll throw up a few duds in between. But you never know. You probably can get him real cheap. So I would take a flyer on him if he's available. Next up is Braylon Allen with the New York Jets. He scored 2 times last week, and he had pretty much shared the backfield with Breece Hall. I'm not sure how much run he's going to get moving forward, but he's definitely the clear handcuff if anything was to happen to Breece Hall. So with that said, I would, if he's available in your league and you have room on your bench, I would definitely pick him up and hold him. And he may even be worth spot starting sometime because he showed where he'll probably get some carries, and he may, you know, if he gets some carries with the touchdown, that could be tremendous. Next up is Cam Akers with the Houston Texans. And with Joe Mixon hurting his ankle, he could possibly miss the game on Sunday. If that happens, Cam is probably going to get the bulk of the carry. So I think that would be a nice pickup. Another pickup at running back is Deontay Foreman with Cleveland Browns. And this could be the changing of the guard as far as their current running back. Deontay led the team in carries with 14. And I didn't watch the entire game, but I think Jerome Ford is okay. And if Deontay becomes the number 1 back, you have some favorable matchups with the Giants coming up, the Raiders, and that awful Washington Commanders defense. So he definitely is worth taking a flyer on and seeing what happens going forward. Now let's look at a few wide receivers. Demarcus Robinson with the Los Angeles Rams. He's the de facto number 1 receiver now that Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are out. So I don't know how good this offense is going to look now, but he's definitely going to get the targets. The question is, how much will this offense struggle without those 2 guys? So if you're in need of a receiver, or you just need a number 3 receiver, I think he would be a good target. Another guy is Quentin Johnston with the Los Angeles Chargers. He had a nice game last week with 2 touchdowns, and he has a chance to emerge as the guy here since Mike Williams and Keenan Allen aren't there. So I think he may be worth going out and scooping up as well. I know Ladd McConkey's been getting a lot of pub, but I don't know if he's the guy yet. I don't know if anybody's the guy on this Chargers team yet. So Quentin Johnston, he's a talented guy. So I definitely, you know, if you have place on your bench, I would definitely scoop him and just kind of see where things go. At tight end, Hunter Henry, he had 8 catches for 109 yards on Sunday. And as most of us are, if you're hurting at tight end, he would be a good pickup simply because of the sheer volume he's going to get every week. Make no mistake about it, this team isn't going to put up a lot of points. So you're going to have to deal with a lot of inconsistencies. But I think he's the guy. That wide receiving core with New England is not good. So I think he's the best receiver on the squad. I think his targets were more than what the entire wide receiver core was. I'm not sure about that, but it was a staggering number. So Hunter Henry would be a good tight end pickup. And as always, guys, I stream my defenses. And this week, the defense that I really, really love is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In the short term, I think the Denver Broncos is the offense that we need to target. Whoever that offense is playing, I think we need to pick the defense every week, because as long as I see Bo Nix and he doesn't have a whole lot of talent around him, I think they can produce some good turnovers. Right now, the Denver Broncos, they're only averaging 13 points per game. They're having 3 turnovers per week. So playing that offense gives you a high ceiling. And if for some reason I'm not able to pick up Tampa Bay, I already have the Seattle Seahawks. And, I like picking on quarterbacks with not so good stats. So, Miami, they lost their quarterback last week, Tua Tagovailoa. So he's out for probably like at least 5 or 6 weeks. Skylar Thompson's his backup. So let's check out Skylar's stat line. That's 68 completions in 119 attempts, 614 yards with 1 TD, 3 interceptions, and 7 sacks. I know Miami still has some speed, but I think that if Seattle can put some pressure on the quarterback, that's going to produce a lot of turnovers. So Seattle's my second team. Actually, if I can't get Tampa Bay, I will use Seattle. But if you guys are using the streaming option as well, there's another defense I have out that I think is a good matchup for this week, and that's the Tennessee Titans. They've had a good game. They've had a bad game. In the good game, they gave up 3 field goals to a bad Chicago Bears offense. And in the bad game, they gave up 24 points to the Jets. But I watched the Colts get ran over all game long against a quarterback who all he could do was just hand the ball off. They didn't force him to pass in Malik Willis. So I think if you can make Malik Willis beat you with his arm, it's a much more favorable matchup for the Tennessee Titans. With that said, I like Tennessee to actually force Malik Willis to beat them, and I don't think he can do that. So, guys, there you have it. These are my waiver wire pickups for this week, and I hope your season has gotten off to a great start. I hope you guys are all 2-0, but if not, just remember, guys, it's all about the waiver wire. So keep plugging away at that waiver wire, and you'll eventually get your team where you want it to be. And guys, there you have it. Do me a favor. Spike that like, comment, subscribe, and it's your boy, the Black Mamba, out.